Hello everyone, welcome to Simply Math, and in this video we're going to be talking about multiplying and dividing rational and irrational numbers. Now, something to take note of before we start is that when you multiply two numbers together, it's the same thing as dividing by their inverse. So over here I have a over b times c over d, and this is the same thing as a over b divided by d over c. Over here we have x times 1 over y, and this is the same thing as x divided by y. And so, all throughout this video, we're going to be showing multiplication, but note that the same things apply for division as well. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. First off, when you multiply two rational numbers together. Over here I have a divided by b and c divided by d, where a, b, c, and d are all integers. And so when we multiply these two fractions together, we're going to get ac over bd. And another thing is that when you multiply two integers together, so let's say ac here, it's going to be equal to another integer. And so let's say that ac is equal to e. Let's do the same thing and say that bd is equal to f, and also bd is an integer as well. So this fraction can be rewritten as e divided by f, and we know that both e and f are integers, and so we can say that e over f is rational. And therefore, multiplying two rational numbers together is going to give you a rational number. And so now let's move on to multiplying two irrational numbers together. So, this can actually be both rational or irrational. First, let's see how it can be rational. Suppose x is the square root of 2 and y is the square root of 8. The product will be the square root of 16. And the square root of 16 is actually equal to 4. And so in this case, it's equal to a rational number. But now let's say that x is the square root of 2 and y is the square root of 3. Over here, we would get the square root of 6. And the square root of 6 is irrational. And so we can say that when you multiply two irrational numbers together, we can get either a rational product or an irrational product. And now let's finally go down to rational times irrational. We're going to deal with this the same way we did subtraction in the previous video. So, let's suppose that m over n times x is equal to another rational number, a over b. So, we can solve for x by dividing both sides by m over n, and so x would be equal to a over b divided by m over n. We can rewrite this as x is equal to a over b times n over n. And this, as we can see, will simplify down to an over bm. And as we said earlier, multiplying two integers together is only going to give you another integer. And so an is an integer and bm is an integer. But what does this mean? If an and bm are both integers in a fraction like this, that means that this, an over bm, is rational. But we already said that x is irrational, and so we know that this must be false. Therefore, when you multiply a rational and an irrational number together, the product cannot be rational, and therefore the product must be irrational. That's all for this video. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching.